Okay, so today, all this stock stuff gets replaced with all this shiny new stuff. Poison Spyder carrier, Poison Spyder rear bumper. Lighting sucks. Okay, first things first, we'll pull this tire off and disconnect the electrical. Really, there's not too much electrical to do. The license plate light, this has the backup sensors. We'll disconnect that. Go ahead and pull off the plug for the tow package and an air line over there, and I'll get right back to you. Okay, from what I can see, two plugs. This is the passenger side, that goes to the bumper. Driver's side is back up in here. Mud. And then our tow package. But yeah, they look a little tight to get to, so we're gonna have to do this. I'll do this without you. Okay, here on the passenger side, just under the fender, there's a cover. We pull that off. 3 bolts. Now we can see where our plug's at. It's a little easier to get to this way. So here's our plug. Now, I disconnected it. This can be hard with one hand. Anyhow, on the back side of this plug there's a little tab. All you do is push that tab down and this plug will come apart. Okay, over here on the driver's side we have a slightly different situation. Cover's off, same as the other side, 3 bolts. But what we're going to do on this side is right there, that little tab. We had to put a screwdriver in there. See if I can do this with one hand. This, give that a little turn, and that'll come right apart. There we go. Got it. Okay, the bumper is off. Wasn't too bad. Now these bolts are long and fine threaded. They're not too easy to get to, but once you get these 4 off on the driver's side, 2 other ones on the passenger side, you think the bumper will slide off, but here's a little tip. These brackets kind of hug the frame, and on the inside there's a tab that goes into the frame. So you're gonna have to at least loosen one side to free that up enough to get it out of the hole, and then you can slide the whole bumper over and it comes off pretty easy. Okay, 40 pounds of mud later, everything looks clean and get access to everything. We'll pull off the mount, tire mount. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 bolts, and then we'll figure out the wiring from there. Okay, upon further inspection, it looks like the best thing to do is pull out these Torx everywhere we can, so that'll make getting the wiring separated from this a little easier. Okay, so the bumper's on. The lights are lit. The wiring is done. getting awful damn dark, so tomorrow morning we'll go over the details about the nuts and bolts of the installation. Okay, a little look in the daylight. It's obviously raining, but we'll go over the nuts and bolts parts now. Okay, so basically all the bolts are pretty easy to get to. These four here, or these two, are you reuse. We use these. We reuse these inside bolts, and this one comes with the kit. This is a long bolt that goes all the way through the frame, and then there's a nut on it. These are two shorter ones. They go into a nut plate which you slide into the frame before you bolt it in. You have to drill a hole to secure the nut plate, but after I got it in there, I just left it loose, got the bolt started and pulled it back out, so I had a little more adjustability. Wiring, so I reused these for grounds. Ran the tail light, spliced into the tail light so I could get my radiance lights to have a marker light and use them as backup lights. Ran the other wire through the tailgate. Pop off this panel right here, pretty easy. Take out your trail rails here. They just pop up, and then there's a bolt under it, which I can't do with one hand. Pull that out, and then this whole panel pops out pretty easy. There's one Torx in the front, and you pull this plate here out, and this whole thing pulls out pretty good. Most of this molding and everything can be moved enough to access it. There's one little pin right here. But then I fished the wire in, ran my wiring to the license plate unit, which is kind of just an Amazon stoplight. These tag lights are Amazon. Genrite plate. And I made this little bracket here. Camera goes here. If anybody out there knows a way to splice this coax cable so I could unplug it here instead of taking it apart and unplugging it off the camera, dude, comment me. That'd be awesome, because everything else unplugs pretty easy. Got waterproof plugs here for everything else. And yeah, you notice the tail lights off. That's because I had to tap into the wires. But I would say this, even if you're not going to wire the bumper or do any wiring, take the tail light off. Yeah, when you're sliding in the carrier into the Timken bearings here, they're pretty deep, so that brings the whole unit up pretty high in order to stab it in, and it comes pretty close to your tail light here. Yeah, I just found out it's 350 bucks to replace that, so yeah, you definitely want to take that out, and it's easy. You have a little plastic cover right here. Here's your cover. Pop that out, and then you have this kind of plastic screw thing with a Torx that actually comes in your little kit. Holds your tail light in. Super easy. Yeah, do it. Take it out. Other than that, pretty good install. Okay, it's still raining, but the tail light is in and we're going to do a little light check and wrap it up before we take it. That's a wrap.